All right, everybody, welcome back to Beans No Ball. Got some breaking news came out just about an hour ago. Christian, this is something that, this is just absurd. The market's getting crazy.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence is getting 5 years, 275 million, 200 million guaranteed. Now, I don't really know what to make of this. He's up there in the $55 million a year mark.
It's
Just
55.
like
It's 55 on the dot. It's 55 on the dot.
he's what's it called? Evened out with Joe Burrow as a joint highest paid player in NFL history. Trevor Lawrence is the highest paid player in NFL history. Let that sink in.
No, not even let that sink in. 200 million of that money is guaranteed.
That's the most guaranteed ever, right?
Yeah, that's
Or
the
did
most
Watson
guaranteed.
get more?
One for. I don't remember. I know Watson's contract was crazier, but I'm not. I don't remember exactly the guarantee.
I don't know what it was, but yeah,
But it's 200 million of guaranteed money. 142 of that is without that fully guaranteed, but 200 of that is what he's capable of getting. I was confused on what I know how your group chat you said that Stroud and Aaron are safe. I'm like, what the hell just happened in the South? Then that's the first thing I see when I open Instagram. Honestly, this contract is absurd. Lawrence, he really hasn't proved anything. Let's be real. Everyone's gonna keep using the inflated argument that he came back against that huge deficit against the Chargers in the playoffs 2 years ago. Let's be real here. Brandon Staley of the Chargers. He is the reason. I was gonna make. He is the reason the Chargers lost the game. His decisions, his play calling. I don't know what the hell he was doing. I know I had my little shits and giggles of blaming Herbert, but
let's not leave him out. He kind of did fall off throughout the second half of that game.
He was a factor, but Staley's really the main reason why the Chargers really blew that game here. But like Trevor Lawrence, like we talked about in a couple past videos about him, this like we talked about, this was going to be his contract year. Now all of a sudden he finally got his contract, but he still has a lot left to prove against that Jaguars team. We saw the collapse last season. We saw the collapse last season, but look, he did get injured, but still, this is still a quarterback. You're in the name with Burrow. You're, like you said, with a joint with being the highest paid. You can argue Burrow has deserved the money, but Burrow, he's obviously done more than Trevor Lawrence right now. It's just a lot to
Super Bowl appearance. Yeah,
Super Bowl appearances, 2 conference championships. Look at that. Trevor Lawrence, like I said right now, I'm gonna keep backtracking it. This season, he's gonna have to prove himself that he's worth all this freaking
And here's
money.
the thing, that's what we thought this season was gonna be. He proves himself, and if he starts doing it, what has he done? Let's be honest. Sure, he led that 28-0 comeback. Sure, let's give him his flowers for that. But okay, he did. Let's say have decent in that Chiefs game the next week. But apart from that, what really has he done? I got his stats up right here. That 22 season was his best. His best season, he went 9-8. Is that worth 55 million a year?
That's really all you gotta look at. Sure, I know there's a lot of stat warriors, box score warriors, but still.
Let's also not forget his interception issues.
Yeah.
What did he have? Like 14? Yeah, 14 interceptions last year. I know that playoff season, he kept it down to 8, but apart from all that, hasn't cracked over 66% completion percentage. I don't know. Just overall to see that this is the guy that's going to be the highest paid in NFL history. And we look at, I don't know what the Jaguars game plan is, which you got rid of Calvin Ridley, you're bringing in Gabe Davis, whopper of a play there,
signing. Trust me.
And you're throwing money at Trevor Lawrence right now, and you're also throwing money at Josh Allen, which that's a great deal, sure.
Josh Allen was probably the best move.
And I'm not going to say nothing about that contract. It was a good contract. It's 5 years, 141 million, but you're throwing money around at the wrong places. At least with Trevor Lawrence, you're throwing way too much.
Trevor, like you bringing up the Josh Allen, like he was deserved of that money. He's like really.
The only point I'm making is you're digging yourself a pretty big hole. In the future.
Yeah, they're
pretty sure
they're slumping themselves. They're just slumping themselves. Yeah, they're just slumping themselves, getting rid of all this money. They're gonna have to let go some of their key players in probably the next couple of years because they had to give their money to Trevor Lawrence. And if he ends up having a stinker next season, oh boy, this is literally Daniel Jones contract 2.0 all over again.
And that's something else that we're gonna say. Not his draft class, but we talk about the draft class, and the number 1 pick. He's obviously I think he's the only player still left on his team from that 2021 draft class. Whoop-de-doo, he's the best quarterback in his draft class, in the worst draft class,
it's not much
draft class since probably 2015.
It's not much to say if he was the best. That draft class was kind of.
I know, and that's the point. We see. probably like the second or third best quarterback in that draft class is now his backup in Mac Jones. I mean, the way the things we're looking at with this Jaguars team, I mean, you better hope Brian Thomas Jr. turns out to be an absolute stud, because that wide receiver core is looking pretty bleak at this moment. And I mean, like we were joking about, like what you just said, you know, CJ and Ant look pretty safe at that top 2 spot in that South Division. I mean, we'll see. You know, like you said, Trevor has a lot to prove. Maybe he can't prove himself, but it's looking steep for them. And like we said, one more piece of information that came out a little earlier, but the Falcons tampering situation has finally come to an end. They're getting docked a 5th round pick, and I believe like it was like $250K and $50K for the GM on fines. I mean, definitely, you know, well, what was the point of all this investigation? You're just gonna take a 5th rounder.
Yeah, I mean, like they did all that tampering. I mean, look, tampering. I mean, like, literally. I mean, for those of you who don't know, it's literally just like, look, they had contact with them illegally when they weren't supposed to. That's
which is also not forget that there's like a 3-day legal tampering period right before I think like from Monday to Wednesday.
Not even with just cousins. It was also with, I think it was Darnell Mooney and then one other player.
I think so. There was that, because then
it was 3.
Because apart from the Falcons, there was also the Saquon stuff that
that's
they
still being investigated. I think that's still being investigated.
No, they finally they didn't see any wrongdoing with the Eagles. So I mean, that's, you know, I mean, what were they gonna get docked? A 6th rounder? So I mean, not. I guess
maybe a 7th. Who knows? But still, I mean, no huge big deal. And I guess one final pick was just to throw on Achilles Campo signing with the Dolphins. I wasn't gonna say much just because, you know, wasn't a really huge deal. But I mean, like, he's a fossil. Just, I guess, throwing it in there, he's not gonna do much, but just for depth and probably, you know, be a mentor for those young guys on that D line. So I guess a good step up for.
Like you said,
the young guys.
I mean, who knows if he even makes it past training camp? Let's be honest. Yeah. Best preseason. I mean, he might just be someone there to just mentor guys and you know, give it one last crack at it. But I mean that has been passed around ever since the Jaguars days. So I mean, it's tough to see like such a highly touted player like him, you know, kind of fall from grace. But I mean, what you're gonna do when you lose what you got? You know, I mean, you lose the juice. But that's gonna do it for us. That's just a quick. I mean, you know, obviously the big piece in Lawrence. I mean, we'll see how that turns out. But you know, apart from that, that's it for the news. See what else comes up in contract talks, and training camp coming up soon. So definitely gonna get a lot more of that. See what other type of content we get before that. And thank you guys for watching. Hope you like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys back soon.